Okay, I'm here at a Chinatown hawker stall, and this is Jinji Teochew Braised Duck and Kway Chap. The same slot since 1983. Hey, hi Melvin.
Hello.
Hello. What time did you wake up today? What time do you usually wake up?
So whenever I'm working, I wake up about 4 in the morning.
Wow, 4 a.m. That's so early. Then what time do you usually get here every day?
We will reach about 6 plus. Then we will end work about 6 p.m. and we close store, it will be around 8 p.m.
Wow, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's very long. I mean, now the weather, now it's raining, but usually very hot, right? How do you cope with the weather?
No, we are just to adapt to it. Because weather, you cannot change anything.
Yeah, but tough, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, last thing. What would you want to share with Singaporeans about hawker life?
Hawker life is tough. I mean, you got no off day, no holiday in a heaty environment. So not everybody can adapt to hawker life. It's very much different for if you're working in a restaurant because the environment is better. It's air conditioned. So hawker is you have to simply do everything yourself.
It's a free sauna. It's a free sauna. That's why I tell people you don't need to go to sauna. You can just come to my store. We will still have hawker center, but we will lose the culture.
Welcome to IQ, Melvin.
Hi.
It's damn good to see a hawker dressed up. you normally wear singlet, t-shirt, right? When you're there, when you're hawker there.
My hawker uniform is a plain white shirt.
White shirt
the
and
typical Teochew style.
Teochew
white
style.
shirt, short Bermuda, zippers.
So you are probably the most famous hawker in Singapore.
I
think so.
I think I do a lot of kaypoh things. That's why a lot of people remember me.
So the reason why I invited you for this interview is to understand what it takes to be a hawker more. What are some of the problems? What are some of the challenges facing? And the hawker trade itself and hawker culture, And, you are obviously well known because of your stall, of the fact that you fight for hawker rights, hawker interests. So many of these hawkers are with you, right? Now, in 2020 April, you started a Facebook group called Hawkers United.
Yes,
Dabao 2020, correct?
Yep.
What made you start this? And I gather that at that time you had 282,000 members, followers.
Initially on the first day we got about 40K 40,000. Yeah.
Wow.
So I went to sleep. The next day I wake up. Then I got message all over my social media and my contact. People know me. So they were asking about the group, how they are going to help also.
But in the end, how long did it take for you to become 282,000?
I think it's about 1 year.
In 1 year, it went up to 280.
Correct.
What is it now?
Currently, it's 333,000 members.
Wow. And then you had another one. You started another one, right? Delivery United.
Yeah. That one is
smaller.
Correct. Because the time I think of those
COVID
PHV drivers. So I think no people will be on the street. A lot of people is going out. So
this is during the COVID.
Correct. So they don't have income. Then I think the income they can earn is through delivery. Because not every hawkers they are engaging platform to do delivery. So I think it might be a good or source of income for the.
But now it's not. Now it's not, right?
Now I think they got their own
system.
Yeah, correct.
And then you got a lot of these riders, Grab and others, which you use as well, right?
Yeah, I'm using.
Could you tell us why so many, more than 300,000 hawkers signed up with you? Why?
It's actually not all are hawkers. I think hawkers, there are a few thousand. In fact, there are a lot of hawkers who are in the group, but they are not active. So they will just do, because not everybody wanted to engage in social media. But majority of them are the foodies, people who love the hawker culture, people who love food, and people who love the hawkers.
And do you think there's a lot of Singaporeans who love their favorite hawker?
Yeah. In fact, when you see whenever Singaporeans travel, so the first thing they come back, they will go and hunt for hawker food. The first thing they come back. So they cannot. I mean, if you are going away for 2 or 3 days, it's okay. If you're going for 1 week, especially to those European country, those Angmo country, they cannot tahan one. Once they come back, they have to hunt for.
No, I tell you the truth. I just came back last week from Sweden and from Poland. Okay, wow. I miss the Singapore hawker food, and my wife knows it. So she WhatsApp me and say, "Okay, Han, what do you want when you come home?" I said, "Char kway teow and Hokkien mee."
Wow.
Yeah, and true enough, when I came back, when I landed at Changi, the first thought on my mind was, "Wow, I can't wait to eat the char kway teow."
We share the same mindset. I also like that.
And you know, it is such an important thing. But what is important is, can you imagine not having hawker centers anymore in Singapore?
Wow.
It can happen, don't you think so?
Yeah, I agree.
It can happen in 10, 15, maybe 20 years. No more hawker centers. Because for hawker centers to function, for us to have our favorite Hokkien mee or char kway teow, you need people willing to cook it.
Yeah, true.
So would you say that it is a serious problem now, the survival of the hawker trade?
Yeah, I think a few years ago, these bloggers who is very famous, Dr. Leslie Tay. So you are about the book on the end of char kway teow.
Yes.
So indeed, we see that there are no youngster cooking char kway teow. So previously, the youngest one is about 20 plus years old, who he went to the NEA incubation program. So subsequently, he take up the store. And we are so happy that, finally we got a youngster cooking char kway teow.
And they sign up.
Yeah.
How long is the course?
I think it's about 1 year.
1 year.
But
not every day, of course.
I think it should be every day. They have to go through
a full-time
mentorship with the hawkers for a period like about 3 months. Then they have to go through a test. Then subsequently, if he passed, then if he wanted to take out the store, the NEA will subsidize the store for them. So very sad. The young hawker, after 2 years, even he got business, he's saying that the life is too tough for him. So he actually stopped and went back to his previous job, which is in aerospace. But the one we cannot say anything much because the environment is so much better than being a hawker.
Yeah. And you also could have taken that path, right?
Yeah, correct.
I mean, you have a diploma in machinery, precision machinery.
I was in IT. Yeah, but during my time, I was not really into study. It's more that to spend time. If not, I will go to army. Then I was quite rebellious during my younger time. So I get into a lot of trouble. So with the laws, and I was under surveillance from the police also.
Oh.
So if I don't study, I think I have to go into prison very fast.
Into prison. No, but why did you choose to be a hawker? I mean, everybody has many other options and choices, but you chose.
Mainly because I grew up in the hawker environment. So my parents, my late father and my mom started this hawker store in the early 80s. So
1983.
Correct. So during the time, being a parents of hawkers, they don't really have time for the children. So basically, they work every day one. Almost
7
every
days?
day. Yeah, correct.
Wow.
And their tummy is damn long. It's definitely more than 12 to 15 hours between that.
Wow.
So it's something that nowadays, we hawker, we don't really can adapt to it because it's too tiring. But last time we call them desperate hawkers. They got no choice. They need to feed the family.
How many siblings did you have?
I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are 5 mouths to feed.
Correct.
Right? And no other choice. I believe they were not educated.
Yeah.
So can't get a job. And you said they work more than 12 hours a day.
More than that.
And 7 days a week.
Correct.
Right. Were you one of those children that helped the parents?
Yeah. I was there because they got no time to look after us. So for me, I was almost every day at the store after school. I will go to my store. Then my grandmother is the one who was looking after me because my parents
No time.
During that time they don't have their own flat
Oh, okay.
Then they don't have time also. So my grandmother is the one who looking after us.
So after school finish at what time for you?
I think should be afternoon around 12 or 1.
12, okay.
Yeah.
Then from there, you go straight to the hawker stall.
Correct.
And what do you do there?
For others who like to study, they have to do their homework. But for me, I will never do my homework. So I will just go there and play around with the children over there. The hawkers, children. Then I will do some part of the store works like
Go and
collecting
put the
plates.
plate,
Because correct. Because last time we got no plate collector one. You have to do that yourself. Then you mop the table yourself. So I do that.
Okay, as a kid. And I guess for you, that is the only way you get to spend time with your parents.
Yes, correct.
Right? Because by the time they come home, they are very tired.
Correct. Because the hawker last time they got no life balance one.
Work-life balance.
Nothing on that one. Even during that time, I don't think there are any entertainment or
Nothing.
balance. The only entertainment I think is either you gamble or you go drinking.
Yeah.
It's not like now we got also a healthy style going on.
So for the sake of our viewers, can you tell me your daily routine now, today?
Okay.
What time do you get up?
So basically, when I was working, I wake up about 4 every day in the morning. So I will just daddy, then I wake my mom up. Then my brother is the one who will fetch us to the store. So he will help me in the morning to do down set up. Then I think about 6 plus we will be at the store.
But what do you do from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock? What do you do? I mean, your stall does kway chap, right?
Correct.
Could you explain what exactly is kway chap and what do you cook?
Oh, so kway chap is actually a Teochew cuisine. It's being braised with all the pork offer like intestine, bit small intestine, pig skin, pig stomach.
And also duck, right?
Yeah, correct. And braised duck also because we are using the same type of mother sauce. That's why we can sell braised duck and kway chap together.
And it's well known because you took over your father's stall, right?
Yeah.
Your parents' stall.
Correct.
So people know and you have regular customers.
Yeah. So I took over in 2014 when my dad passed away quite very suddenly. And during that time, business were quite slow because my parents are not very into all this type of media marketing. That was the time when media marketing became the trend. So I took over and I realized that we need to get more youngsters to go and try the food, get more new blood. Because our batch of customer are all aging and some pass on, some have already left Chinatown. They don't come to Chinatown quite frequently. And we are at the unit, it's quite a hidden spot. we can call it a bike spot in Chinatown complex. So I was thinking that we have to do something, a type of shout out and do some revenge. So I did something, I came up with a bento set with a Japanese presentation. So if we braise that, the normal egg I transfer into the awesome egg, tamago egg. So the yam rice I turn into the rice ball because chicken rice ball is famous. I think that chicken rice ball can be famous. Why we cannot turn the yam rice ball into a rice ball also. So I changed that. So after I launched it, it became a social media hit. It go viral. So subsequently, there are quite a lot of medias who come in interview, and that's how we get the publicity until today.
So when you said that you started United, Hawkers United, right?
Correct.
And Dabao in 2020.
Yep.
Right. Did that help you in your business?
Definitely. Frankly speaking, the group does give me a lot of publicity. So I think we got media interview not only from local, we got even interview from BBC, all the foreign medias and all our Asian medias, they can interview us also. I think we should be the only one who are creating a group for the hawkers and F&B during COVID times.
So would you say that today hawkers cannot avoid social media if you want to grow?
It's a must. It's a must. It's not like last time spreading the words from the hawkers, from customer, is that type of social media. So you have to depends a lot on your customer who will recommend your food to the friends. So nowadays it's the same thing as social media.
How do you use it?
We use it to promote our food. And previously it's so much easier. You just put some photo every day, you just recommend your food, what you do. But the social media now is advancing that you need to do content. So you need to create some content which people will go and see. You have to have some funny elements inside. So it's not easy. Now you still have to be a hawker. You need to be a content creator also.
So do you engage anyone to help you with the social media content creation?
Oh, currently no.
You do it yourself?
I do it myself.
Oh, wow.
But I don't do it every time because for me, editing is a very difficult thing. So I take a lot of time. I'm not those very expert. I do content for some hawkers who are new hawkers. So they want to help. So I think I can reach out to some followers in my group. Then subsequently there will be some medias or bloggers who will get noticed and they will go and try and maybe do a write-up for them.
Yeah. You know, it's very interesting. The Straits Times article about you published in 2020, April, I think. Now, describe you very interestingly. Describe you as a straight-talking, occasionally foul-mouthed. I can picture that. Okay, and sweaty towel wearing. Is that accurate? I think.
Yeah. I used to sweat quite a lot.
The foul mouth is Hokkien, Teochew, or English.
Miss whatever. I think my talent on vulgarities is quite
advanced.
Quite
you can have PhD.
Yeah, correct. But I don't encourage people to do that.
Of course. No, but that's you. That's you.
Yeah, correct.
And there are many YouTube comments about you. I just want to highlight, you have a very strong, even though you can be vulgar or whatever, people follow you and people like you, like these are some comments about you. This bloke is a local hero. He deserves to be rewarded, even a medal from the government. Wow. Are you sure you didn't pay the money?
No, I don't pay that.
And then another quote, this is what you call kampung spirit. Thank you, Melvin, for being the voice for most of the elderly Gen 1 hawkers. The third one, another one is, he has a heart of gold. Not only does he help struggling hawkers, he looks into their personal welfare as well. He also reports of those who have fallen ill or even passed on, urging the public to attend the wake to support funeral expenses. I find that very moving, that you care enough for. I'm sure there are many older hawkers, who pass away very quietly.
Yeah, correct.
And funeral expenses are very expensive, right?
I think a lot of hawkers, after they retire, most of the money they earn will go to the doctors. They will have pain everywhere. They will have illness. I think the only thing
So the
stop
doctor,
them,
the hospitals.
correct. The only thing that stop them of being a hawker is not only aging. It's because their body cannot take it.
Cannot take it.
And in fact, I can say that they are being forced to retire.
So what actually happens to the body? I mean, as a hawker yourself, the kitchen space is very small,
Correct.
right? So your body is constrained.
Yep.
Okay. And I remember going into the kitchen a few times. Wow. Even standing there for 10 minutes, I'm sweating. I'm not even doing anything. I'm
Correct,
just standing there.
It's a free sauna. It's a free sauna. That's why I tell people you don't need to go to sauna. You can just come to my store. I will charge you like $10 can be. You will sure sweat.
Yeah. And so my question, this may sound like a stupid question, but why can't there be better ventilation? I mean, I don't understand this. When we design the hawker centers, must it be so hot?
Correct.
Can there be some other gadgets that will cool the system? I give you an example, right? You go to the National Stadium. National Stadium is open,
Yes.
but they have a cooling system.
Correct.
It's a system where the water cools and then you get cool breeze, so people don't feel the kind of humidity.
Correct.
But can't things like that be introduced to the hawker centers?
I wish. In fact, I do bring up this topic. I think a few years back.
You were part of the NEA work group on sustaining the hawker trade,
Correct.
right? You were part of the work group.
Yeah.
Was that the platform you brought up some of these ideas?
Yeah. In fact, I brought every time when I see any officer.
Okay.
I think the most important thing is the climate. The climate. So even today, we got very good ventilation like 5 years back.
Yeah.
It's already different because the climate has been keep increasing. So we can just imagine for the next 1 or 2 years, the climate, if they just rise by 1 degree Celsius,
1 degree is
that
very...
will kill you. They will kill you. So it's actually a very big hazard for the hawkers.
Yeah.
I mean, in physically, mentally,
Yeah.
and it causes mental illness also. So when they get too tired, too hot, then I think they get frustrated very easily.
Yeah.
And they don't have enough rest, so their body will get affected. Then subsequently, they will get all sorts of illness.
Yes. And not just mental, right? Physical illness. Because the body needs the rest and your legs.
Correct. Like me, my knees are already, I think I already get an effect. I get an effect. I consulted the doctor. The doctor said, hey, Sunday you'll be like your mother. So my mom went for surgery, knee replacement surgery for both knees.
Why? Why is that when you're a hawker? Why do you get knee problems?
I think it's the long-standing hours. So I mean, if we are working for 12 hours, at least 10 hours we will be standing.
Wow.
So during your peak hour, you have to stand do your cooking. I don't think there are hawkers who are sitting there and do their work. Very few.
And there's no space
For
you to put chair and all this, And so my question to you is, the weather is going to get worse.
Yeah.
Right? Humidity, the heat, right? the long standing,
Yep.
right? And also the oil and the smoke, right? The steam.
Correct.
It affects your face, right? Doesn't it come up?
Correct.
It
Yeah,
affects your face. And all these things are not going to go away. They're only going to get worse.
I agree.
So the question is, if we are serious about wanting to maintain the hawker culture and hawker trade in Singapore, right? Shouldn't we do something about it now? Like, what are some of the suggestions that you have that can improve the conditions for hawkers?
When we are talking, there are many perspectives lah. So in the hawker perspective, we always hoping for a better environment. We can get more helpers to help lah. That will definitely cut down our work lah.
But where are you going to get the helpers from?
That is a very big problem now. So for a long time we have been talking about nobody are willing to be a hawkers helpers.
Yeah.
So only PR and
The migrant worker.
So I think last year we got long-term visit pass. But all of a sudden you can see all the long-term visit pass, they doesn't want to be a hawker assistant also lah.
Is it?
Correct. Because they prefer to work in a better environment like food court.
Food court, even coffee shop.
Correct. It's
Even
a
coffee
better
shop is
environment.
better,
It's not so hot lah. So working in a hawker as an assistant, they will put it at the third choice or fourth choice.
Even construction may be more dangerous, but may not be as bad, no? In fact, I spoke to last year. I was having a conversation with three construction workers, in Serangoon area. They said they don't want to work in a hawker center. I say it's safer. Nothing will happen. He said no, but the heat is too much.
Yeah lah.
And they get paid more in construction.
Correct. They pay more in construction. You can Alibaba one. You can like snack very easily one. Hawkers very difficult one.
Yeah.
Especially those hawkers who got very good business. Every day got long queue one. They even doesn't want to work there lah.
Yeah.
It will be more tiring, no. So they will rather go and look for job and those stores which are not so famous, like their business are okay. Then I take in the same salary then I don't need to do so much.
Talking about salary, how much of income can a hawker expect to get? I'm told there's a range, right? From as low as $2,000 a month.
Correct.
That's very low.
Yeah.
To work so hard. And what's the upper limit?
Depends. If you are hawker assistant, like just taking order, doing all the cutting.
No, but
of
hawker
vegetables.
stall. If to run a hawker stall, what kind of profit can you make in 1 month?
1 month, I think 5K, 6K is okay
I
lah.
mean, this is minus the rent and everything.
Correct. It's okay lah. But then
5K, 6K.
5K, 6K is you need to work very hard for that. You need to work very hard for
Like
that.
how many plates a day? If you want 5K, 6K.
If you really want to earn money that will be comfortable, at least 200.
200 a day.
At least 200, yeah.
If you want,
correct.
If you want the 5K, 6K.
Yeah, at least 200. If you are selling char kway teow, you're selling fishbone noodle, bak chor mee, at least 200.
200
Correct.
a day.
Correct. If you are selling 100 plus, then because everybody got different operation costs,
Yes.
so 100 plus is just enough for your life only lah. If you want to have money to buy car, buy house, go travel, then I don't think that will be enough lah.
Wow.
Because you see, everything is increasing
Yeah.
so the profit margin actually
Shrinking.
Last time, if you are talking about in the 90s, 2000 years, the food cost, everything we supposed to tie at not more than 30%. But it's quite impossible now.
Yeah.
It's quite impossible now. Unless you really go and raise your food price to a certain level. Now it's about easily 40%, 40-something%.
So, see, Melvin, this is the part that I don't quite understand, right? I mean, you are struggling. You say at best you get 5,000, 6,000 a month. For that, you have to do 200 plates a day. Just when I think about that already, I bertahan, when I think.
Correct.
And then I look at the conditions in that kitchen to cook with low ventilation, with the steam, the heat, the humidity, everything put together. And then on top of that, you have no work-life balance. You can't go to the movies. You can't watch TV, Netflix. You can't spend time with your children. They're growing up. Like in your case, you grew up with your grandmother.
Correct.
I'm sure your parents would have wanted to spend time with you. So why would anybody want to be a hawker? I think we might as well accept it that in 10, 15, 20 years, there's no more hawker centers in Singapore. Now, this is a question that we as a society needs to ask ourselves. Because I can tell you, when I was reading about you, preparing for this interview, I actually sat up and asked myself, my God, imagine a day when I can't have my char kway teow, or my Hokkien mee, or my wonton mee. I will be miserable. I'll be miserable. Okay, maybe you can go to Malaysia and whack something there.
It's different. Different.
Also here, you're going with your kakinang, no?
Yeah.
You're sitting together, talk cock, and then you have your makan. It's the whole package, right?
Correct.
So I was thinking, what are we going to do if there's no more hawker center? And it is going to be that.
We will still have hawker center, but we will lose the culture of our very own culture food, like char kway teow, authentic fishbone noodle.
Then what will the hawker center sell?
You will see all the duplicate food, all the same food, bon chain restaurant. So
all the restaurant lah.
Yeah, when I visit Philippines, Manila, they got very good food culture, but they doesn't promote it. So you will only see all the fast food. Only current then you can see some like other branding soccer food going into Philippines. But every time when my Philippine friends are visiting Singapore, they say that hawker center is the place that they will want to visit rather than restaurant.
Yeah.
Because they doesn't have this type of culture. Imagine in the hawker center, you can see all sorts of food, Malay food, Indian food, Chinese food. This is something that we won't be able to see in
anywhere
in the world.
Not even Malaysia.
Correct.
Not even Malaysia. Malaysia doesn't have. They've got coffee shop type. They've got kopitiam, but they don't have a hawker culture. They don't have a hawker center.
Correct.
So let's come back to this and ask ourselves what can be done, right? Now, we were talking earlier about national service, right? When I was doing my national service, reservist, I was CEO of a battalion, and many of my soldiers were hawkers. And they came to talk to me. And for reservists, you have to book in.
Yeah.
Before 2359, before 10 p.m., you have to book in. You cannot stay out, right? During the 2 weeks of in-camp training, you can't. So these soldiers came up to me and said, "Sir, we cannot afford it because you can't find someone to cover you, which means you got to close the stall. And if you close the stall for 2 weeks, your customers will go somewhere else and they don't come back." So I scratched my head and asked myself, okay, what is important is I need the soldiers in camp by 7 o'clock. Correct?
Correct.
What they do from midnight to 7 o'clock is their pasal.
Yeah.
Right? So I made the decision. I told them, Okay, if you're worried about losing income, losing your customers, all of you are exempted from the rule of staying in camp. But provided you book in by 7 a.m. sharp, you come 1 minute late, I charge you.
Oh, that is very, very nice of you.
And they did it. They did it. And did the battalion suffer? No what? They were there by 7 o'clock. They were in uniform. But they were very grateful because they were able to keep their customers. They didn't have the stress. But what is the point of coming for in-camp trading if your mind is worried about money?
If me, I will think of a way to siam already.
Yeah, correct. And these soldiers, actually your point is right, these soldiers became very good soldiers because they were grateful. So when you look around, there are many, many hurdles, many problems, okay, that we need to solve.
Correct. I think the word directives there are things that actually we can change. Agency can change, but I think that.
Can you give an example?
Like manpower issue, the
you mean the foreign worker issue?
The current environment, the heating environment of a hawker center. So we always talking about smart Singapore. I think we should have a smart hawker center also. How we done is maybe you can have a hawker center. Because previously when we talk about hawker center having an aircon, people say, no, cannot. But that was many years back. So if today, if we are talking about CBD area, you are wearing a long shirt and tie. Ladies are wearing makeup, I don't think they will want to go and queue for the hawker food.
Yeah.
And are suffering the humidity for like 15 to 30 minutes. Then after they go back, they will have sweat, which is very uncomfortable. And the ladies, their makeup will go now. Makeup very expensive. So they make up, good makeup, then they go, then they have to make up again.
True.
So these are the things that they who rather spend some more money at those better environment like food court or even coffee shop, which are not so humid, not so hot.
And what about, so you're right. I can't see why we cannot be innovative and come up with some kind of technology that allows for cooling, a cooling system. Like in the National Stadium, there's a cooling system. So if you can innovate there, and of course it'll cost some money.
Yeah, it's a budget.
And maybe the government has to decide, if you want the hawker trade and hawker culture, then you got no choice but to put some money.
Yeah, correct.
Right? And in fact, in the hawker center renovation and renovation, I think more than $1 billion has been set aside. Do they ask people like you for your suggestions on how to improve the ventilation?
They don't really because I think every hawker center they got their own association.
Okay.
Then it's up to the association to ask for what they need for the hawker center. If you have an association with people like bo chap one, like just do lor. But when we undergo renovation, it's not only about money, it's the time. It's actually we are losing income.
Yes.
Even you are covering the rental, we still lost income while we never make any money. So we are hoping that when you renovate the hawker center, it should be really something that we hope for, like new lift, passageway for those wheelchair. Or that it's not like you just put some lights, change the toilet. That doesn't really revenge and help a lot for the hawkers.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Melvin, is the renovation in the end must not only be convenient, comfortable for hawkers, customers.
Correct.
We must also make it financially better for the hawkers. Correct?
I mean,
is that the point you make?
It's worth going under renovation. If you Because whenever hawker center after renovation, I will go in Jalan and take a look lah. There are some which I don't mention where it quite disappointed. I see it's all about the same thing lah. Nothing special, nothing much.
Is the ventilation better?
It's not anyway better.
It's not.
Yeah, correct.
Well, I think this is a serious problem. But I'd like now to shift to one important factor. Your customers. I am my friends and I would say are very pro hawker.
Yeah.
So when we go to hawker center, we support them. We will buy as much as possible. We Dabao back home, and so on. So the hawkers are happy.
Yeah, correct.
But at the same time, I'm very disappointed with some Singaporeans. Even if you increase the hawker, like char kway teow, let's say you've been selling it for $2.50, you increase it to $3, wow. Singaporeans make a lot of noise.
Correct.
No, but my question is, it's 50 cents. It's 50 cents more, but that 50 cents more is going to mean so much to the hawker, and not just the hawker, but the hawker's family.
Yeah.
Everything. So where is the consideration for the hawker?
So you see now, when we got social media, it can be very toxic.
Yes.
Social media can be a both side knife.
Yeah.
It can be very sharp. That is very toxic. They will kill you, or either will help you. So the bad part is we can see more and more toxic people in the social media. And I believe that a lot of them are those Chrome accounts who just got nothing better to do, create some accounts to go and hantam the government or hantam the hawkers. So they literally got something to say. This is something that I feel is getting worse. I mean, if we talk about char kway teow, so very good business char kway teow. When he start work for the 12 hours, you will never see him stop. And amazingly, you can see some don't even go to toilet.
Wow.
There is something that is
which is not healthy.
Very not healthy. Because the moment they start work, they start their first plate of char kway teow.
And the queue
they
is
can't
there.
stop it.
And the queue is there.
Correct. So imagine I'm telling people, you don't have to cook, you just have to simulate using a wok, and you just like action. For 2 hours non-stop, you go and try it. So nobody will want to try it. You will get tiring of just empty thing, your hand just...
No, your arms. Your
correct.
wrist.
So you can see that a lot of char kway teow, they are actually dancing. Because they wanted to use every part of the body to use as the strength. Because by just using their hand, they will get illness on the wrist and shoulder very easily.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they don't see this, and they start to recognize like, very easy char kway teow. You just have a wok, a fire, you hantam tauge, hantam kway teow, hantam mee si ham. They're very easy. But when you go and cook, it's not the same thing really.
Yeah. And I know what you mean. I've seen, sometimes I go to hawker center, I sit down there and I look at the hawkers, especially those cooking, the stir-fried ones. Wow, the continuous movement, no?
Correct.
And the popular ones, the queue never stops.
Yeah.
So you can't even, as you say, go to the toilet.
Correct.
And I don't understand why Singaporeans are not poor.
Yeah,
We're not poor. Why are we grumbling about, if we, on the one hand, you don't want the hawker center trade and the hawker culture to die. But it cannot just be based on the current situation, no.
Correct.
So if you don't want it to die, you must be willing to put some money. A little bit more. We're not asking about a lot more, just 50 cents more. Will go a long way.
But the sad thing is when we are raising, when the hawkers, they wanted to raise their price.
Yeah.
They go, many one, they get to think a lot of things. My customer will run away or not. All sort of issue. They think, So recently we all know that this world got inflation. Lah. So in fact, there are a lot of hawkers who come and ask me, "Hey Melvin, should I go and raise my price?" I said, if you think you should, then you should go and raise your price.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, nobody pay for our bills.
Yes.
We got bills to pay also. So there are people who say, that, wow, salary, we never rise. But the same thing, we don't rise our price, we don't get salary also. So it's the same thing. So I'll be telling that if you don't get enough salary, then you go and work more part-time. Like hawkers, if we don't earn enough, then we have to operate longer hours. We have to think of a way, we sell more things, we do more works to go and get more customers to go and like our food.
Yeah.
So everything that there should be nothing come for free one. I think Singaporean is too good pampered, being pampered.
And nothing is for free, as you said. You want it. You want the hawker culture and hawker trade to stay. Then you got to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, and you see, sometimes we always see very toxic comment about hawkers who are driving cars. Yeah. Even they are driving a Mercedes. Hey, come on! I mean now, Mercedes is a car, is a COE car lah. It's quite common. Then it's like hawkers should not be earning money to buy the thing they want, they like. Hawkers must be forever poor. They mean the poorer they are the true hawkers.
Yeah.
It cannot be like that, because if the hawker can afford a Mercedes, afford a luxury car, you know how much work behind.
Yeah.
They have to spend so many hours working, and end of the day they got all sorts of illness.
In fact, I think you made a comment once that hawker trade is the only one of the few businesses that AI cannot penetrate.
Correct.
Of course, we could explore the possibility of having a robot doing the char kway teow. Do you think that's possible, by the way?
It's definitely possible. For very, very long, we have been trying all sort of ideas to how to duplicate a char kway teow. So you don't see a chain store selling char kway teow now.
No.
Because it can never be duplicated. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Even you are using the same type of equipment, wood, fires, ingredients, different people will cook different type of char kway teow.
Which is the best part of it.
Then this is something that is very challenging. AI machine, they can replace if you are doing commercial type of food. Like if you are talking about buffet or chai pen, that type is people don't really go and think of the quality of the food lah. That means can eat, can ready. But you're talking about chicken rice, fish ball noodle, char kway teow, Hokkien mee, that type. They must see people who really cook it. It's a type of feeling. No? If you see a robot cooking, then you will see.
Yeah.
Before you eat, your mental is bo jiao one.
You're right. The psychology.
Psychology is very important. I always tell people, if there are two stores selling fried Hokkien mee, there is a store using charcoal, there is a store using gas. People will go for the charcoal one because their psychology, charcoal is better.
And you can charge more.
So it's the same thing, robot and human. People will still think, human is better.
Yeah.
Robot. Before you eat, you don't even taste that to go and condemn that. You don't need to taste. You already condemn that in your mind.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we can wrap up now, but I have two questions for you to wrap up this conversation. But before that, I think the most important message I want to put out to my viewers, especially customers, is we get what we pay for. In the end, the choice is ours,
Correct.
If we are serious about keeping the hawker culture and hawker trade in Singapore, which can actually die in 15, 10 years, 20 years, it can. But if we are serious about keeping it alive, then we must be prepared to do our part by paying a bit more. And that money is not going to go into luxury, no.
Yeah,
The money
yeah,
is
yeah.
going to go into basic, right? Like, how much of time do you have with your children?
I'm single now.
You're
lah,
single.
but
If you had 2 children, how much of time would you have with your children?
I got no time lah. But from what I see now, I got a lot of younger generation hawkers. They doesn't want to miss out the time with their children. lah. So they will close for even weekends. Last time you will never see hawker off of
Close,
the weekend.
yeah.
lah. But nowadays they feel that the bonding ship with their children is very important. So
Very.
that is why they sacrifice their times and their earnings on the weekdays. But there are people who mistaken it that say, "Wow, hawkers must be very good earning." Weekend nowadays they also don't even want to work, which is not true lah.
Yeah.
Because if you got money, who doesn't want to? They wanted to have more time with their families, which is very important. And even they need more time to have a better good rest, so their bodies can take it
Yes.
for the longer runs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So my question to you, the closing question is, if there's one appeal you have, one thing you request for the government to do, and one thing you request for the customers, what would that be? Just one request from government, one request from customers.
I think for the government, I always got 2 requests, not only one. I'm more greedy.
Okay.
I think the most important thing we have to talk about the manpower. It's something that for 20, 30 years we've been talking about it. We come up with all sorts of ideas, but still nothing can help on this manpower things. That's why it costs no people to help the hawkers, and there are some who will close for good. Another thing is, I think, is a climate issue, which we mentioned earlier. I see it as a very, very, very serious issue for the next coming year. If we don't prepare to do something on that, then for the next few years, I think hawker business will go down. Even the hawker, they will go hazard on the health issue also. So from the
And also, clearly, the youngsters will not consider becoming a hawker.
yes,
Why
correct,
would they want to?
precisely. Because they have to work for so many hours. If they got workers who are willing to help them, then it's a different story. As for the customer, I think mainly that you have to understand that hawkers are also earning a living. So I don't think the type of money they earn justify their labors on that. They should get more on that. Because you see the timing. If you are working in the office environment with no OT, it will start to make noise already. But hawkers are always doing OT.
Yeah.
And
Overtime.
They cannot make noise. They don't even want to make noise. Because we all feel that it's something that we have to do if we want to earn more money.
Yeah.
And the money that we raise, it's not actually the profit. It's the money that we have to use to cover for our losses. Even that we don't earn profit from that.
Yeah.
It's only cover. It's like I always tell people it's like our blood. We got many holes. The blood you come out from here, you cover here. Then here come out, everywhere coming out. We are trying very hard to cover as much as we can. End of the day, we still lost some blood. We still lost our blood. It's how much we are covering the losses.
Yeah.
It's not that we rise the 50 cents, we will earn the 50 cents. It's not like that. So people have to understand. Hawkers don't earn good money. If hawkers can earn good money, then why not those complain people go and be a hawker? They will never want to be a hawker because they know that it's a very hardship work.
Yeah. Well, Melvin, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Not only for yourself, but in what you're trying to achieve for hawkers in general. I wish you all the best, and we must do whatever it takes to keep the hawker culture in Singapore going.
Keeping hawker cultures alive, we need to work as a team. hawkers, government agency, and consumer. Only the group of us coordinate together, help together, then we can protect this hawker culture. If not, by individually, we couldn't do it.
Thank you very much, Melvin.
Thank you.
You are the
Thank you.
champion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.